Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Just hours from now, Republicans will open their national convention in Milwaukee. Much of the focus is on the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump. Right now at 8, the investigation into the shooting and security concerns.
And dangerous heat with us again today. We have a heat alert this afternoon. It's going to feel like 110 in our area. I'll show you the records that we could break.
Welcome in on your Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. I'm Michelle McConaughey.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, what a weekend.
Yeah.
It was nationally with everything going on, locally with the hot weather happening out there. I'm Jeff Hogan. It's great to have you with us here. Elizabeth Gardner is out on the WRAL weather patio right now, and there's no let up in this heat, Elizabeth.
Oh, there's not. Yesterday we hit 100. We're going to see the same thing again today. So just once again, keep it inside as much as you possibly can. You can see the orange shaded area. That's where we're going to have a heat advisory feeling like 110. And that purple shaded area to our east is where we have an excessive heat warning. But that is just outside of our viewing area. It's going to feel like 100 by lunchtime today. And even by, say, 8 o'clock, still feeling like triple digits. So we just don't have much of a window today to get outside and do much at all. If you're one of the folks who has to work outside, be extra careful. Make sure you're taking all those breaks, find in the shade, anything that you can do. It is beautiful in the gardens this morning, that is for sure. Look at that beautiful sunshine, but it's 82 already, so the temperature just climbed, and so did the dew point. We just jumped to 74. The higher that dew point, the more uncomfortable it feels, and the hotter it will feel to us later this afternoon. Bunch of 80s showing up now. 80 in Southern Pines, 80 in Rocky Mount, 80 in South Hill, and of course 82 here in Durham and Raleigh. We have a small chance for thunderstorms this afternoon, but a much better chance later in the week. I can't wait to show you the cooler temperatures and the amount of rain that we have coming our way. But we have 2 more days of the intense heat. We'll see a high of 100. If we hit that 100 today, it'll break the previous record. Ken?
Hey, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're getting a real look at that trouble spot that we've been monitoring now for the last hour and a half. In Johnston County, these westbound lanes around Highway 42, you can see the congestion that's building there. Coming in from Johnston County, I would recommend Highway 50 as an alternate route. Many of you know it as Benson Road, so just keep that in mind, particularly if you're getting ready to head out. This crash just happened in the last 10 minutes or so. It's at Jones Sausage Road in the eastbound lane near I-40. You can see the bumper-to-bumper traffic going on around that crash site. Give me a few minutes. I'll let you know exactly what's going on and let you know how much it might affect your morning commute. But just keep that in mind, just in case Jones Sausage Road is part of your morning commute. This crash we've been monitoring for a little while. It's a minor crash, really, in Raleigh's west side. It's Hillsborough Street near Dixie Trail, not causing any problems in that area. Just watch for some police activity if you're heading out this morning. Elsewhere around the Triangle, we're seeing the usual congestion building on I-885 into the Bull City, as well as I-87, those southbound lanes coming in from Knightdale. So just give yourself some extra time if those routes are part of your morning commute.
Just 2 days after the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump, his party will come together today in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention. It's a live look there at the venue right now. And new this morning in the investigation, a cell phone and other electronics belonging to the shooter are now at the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia. Investigators hope to uncover data that will help them figure out the shooter's motive. The Secret Service is facing serious questions this morning. It says there are no plans to tighten security at the convention. They say they have been preparing for this event for 18 months. Late last night, Trump posted the message, "Unite America," on social media. That's the message he says he plans to share at the convention as well.
And former President Donald Trump is already in Milwaukee ahead of the convention. He was seen getting off his plane last night, less than 24 hours after surviving that assassination attempt. In a statement on social media, Trump says he considered delaying his trip to Wisconsin for a few days, but he says ultimately he couldn't allow a potential assassin to change his schedule. Trump is not expected to speak until Thursday, which is the last day of the convention.
North Carolina lawmakers are asking for peace heading into this critical moment in the presidential campaign. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from the legislative building in Raleigh with their concerns. Laura.
Hey, Jeff, good morning. We know nearly 2,400 delegates from across the country are gathering in Wisconsin this week to officially offer Trump the Republican Party's nomination. We know several North Carolina delegates are already out there, and we spoke with them as they were sitting in their hotel room. They tell us this year's convention in Milwaukee has significantly heightened security compared to previous years. However, that's not the only thing that has changed. The tone has also shifted as well. Some North Carolina delegates are energized and motivated, others confident that political rhetoric will calm down moving forward.
I think you're going to see our delegates are more determined than ever to be there. We want to show the world that there's a sense of strength and that we can't back down.
I think we pray about it. I think there's been more prayers lifted up for politics and politicians in this country over the last 24 hours than probably any time in our history.
So we will continue to monitor the events coming from Wisconsin this week, of course, continuing to get that reaction from our lawmakers that are out there. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And President Biden is calling for unity after a gunman tried to kill Trump. In an address last night from the Oval Office, he expressed support for Donald Trump's family, and he called on the country to, quote, lower the temperature in our politics.
You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down. We all have a responsibility to do that. Yes, we have deeply felt strong disagreements. The stakes in this election are enormously high.
And the president ended by calling on Americans to unite as one nation despite differing political views.
NBC News has learned from two sources the rooftop from where the gunman opened fire at the rally was identified by the Secret Service as a potential vulnerability days leading up to the event. Take a look at this map of the shooting scene. This is in Butler, Pennsylvania, 35 miles north of Pittsburgh. The rally took place on the grounds of the Butler Farm Show. You can see where the stage was set up there, and on the roof of the building is where the Secret Service had snipers. They had a pretty good vantage point there. The gunman, though, managed to get on the roof of an adjacent building about 400 feet away from the stage where Trump was standing.
And we're learning more about the man killed during the shooting. Corey Competore was a husband and a father of two girls. He was also a firefighter. Pennsylvania's governor said he was at the rally with his family. He said he shielded his family when shots rang out and died a hero. The firefighter worked with the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Department. And in a statement on Facebook, the department said Corey will be greatly missed by all who knew him. Corey, rest easy, brother, and we will take it from here. 57-year-old David Dutch and 74-year-old James Copenhaver were also injured. They're in critical but stable condition.
Milwaukee is praying for the victims of the attempted assassination of former President Trump. People there for the National Republican Convention held a vigil last night for the man killed in the shooting and the three others who were injured, including Trump. For more from security experts on the investigation and how to prevent this from ever happening again, you can head to WRAL.com or our YouTube page. We also have information online about the protests expected at the convention and a timeline of the assassination attempt.
Summer break has come to an end for Cumberland County year-round students. About 15 school buses are expected to return to the roadways this morning, bringing kids back to school. Cumberland County's Board of Education made an agreement with local law enforcement last week to supply school resource and traffic control officers to schools. Now each municipality will have their own officers as SROs, with unincorporated areas being covered by the sheriff's office, who confirmed they are ready to serve year-round schools in the county. And covering Wake County, City of Raleigh Water will close a section of Garner Road to eastbound traffic while they work on sewer repairs today. Garner Road will be closed from New Rand Road to Jones Sausage Road. This map shows the detour information so you can get around the construction. Expect traffic delays around the work area. Raleigh Water says local customers should not experience any service interruption, and the work is estimated to take about 2 months.
Coming up on 10 minutes after 8, this is a live look right now as today kicks off what will be a very different tone at the Republican National Convention there in Milwaukee after the attempted assassination of former President Trump. How police are planning to protect the people going there.
Plus, we'll explain the role local law enforcement plays in keeping presidents and candidates safe. A look at how they prepare.
8:13 is the time right now as you take this beautiful look at Beaufort this morning as we take you to the coast there. Sun is shining. The heat will be on, no question. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. We can all dream just a little bit, Elizabeth. Get us out of this oven that we are in this last few days.
It does look so beautiful down there at the coast, doesn't it? And, you know, it typically is cooler because you have that ocean breeze coming in. I mean, it can be hot, but not quite as hot as what we're seeing here. Mountains, another good choice this time of year. We take a look at the garden. It looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, it's such a beautiful morning out here, and it feels comfortable here in the shade. But, of course, as we get into the afternoon, that heat is going to be all over us really, really quickly. It's a pretty quiet pattern that we're in right now. That's going to change later this week. We're going to see a front that comes through that's going to bring us a better chance for rain. But we have a front offshore and a high pressure system just to our west, and that's going to keep things fairly dry for us today. What we'll have happening is, of course, lots of moisture in the atmosphere. So when that sun gets a little higher and starts to warm up, we'll have the potential for a few pop-up thunderstorms, especially from the triangle area southward. Not everybody's going to see any rain today. That'll be the case again for tomorrow and Wednesday. But Thursday and Friday, we could see some good soaking rains like we saw last Friday. So right now we're in a bit of a holding pattern. We have a high pressure system sitting offshore and a low up to our north and west. This is what's going to happen later in the week. Everything just becomes stagnant and we get a solid flow coming out of the southwest. So that means an increase in our rain chance. It also means a break from the intense heat that we saw yesterday, today, and that we'll see again tomorrow. We take a look at what will happen as we get into, say, Thursday and Friday. We're already on Thursday in a level 2 risk for flooding. You can see that yellow shaded area from the triangle area south and east. It also means that we're going to see a nice cooling off. Our temperatures will be below average starting Thursday all the way into the weekend. For the next few days, we have just a few isolated showers and storms in our forecast. That's true through Wednesday. But Thursday and Friday, we'll see widespread rain. Here's a look at our cold front that will stall over us. That's Thursday with a good bit of rain showing up there on Futurecast. And there's Friday. We move it ahead to Saturday. That front's just going to sit there and continue to produce a good bit of rain for us. So that by the time we get to Sunday in the triangle, we could total 2.5 inches. So a good looking amount of rain that's coming our way. Taking a look at the wide view, anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain across our area. Again, we do have that heat advisory that's in effect for us today. We're going to see a break from the heat once we see that change in our weather pattern, but that doesn't happen until Friday. Highs at that point will be in the low 80s.
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We've been monitoring that troubled spot, those westbound lanes coming in from Johnston County this morning. It's beginning to ease. That's good news, right? This used to be a heavy red line stretching all the way back to Cleveland Road, but right now it's beginning to clear up just a bit. If you still want to avoid that area, I would take Highway 50. Many of you know it as Benson Road as an alternate route to get around that. Also around the triangle, the crashes that you're seeing on local roads not really affecting your morning commute this morning. We do want to tell you about this crash on Jones Sausage Road in the eastbound lanes near I-40. We can see a little while ago it was causing quite a bit of slowdown, but chances are that crash is now off to the side and not causing any problems for you if you're navigating Jones Sausage Road. Here's another troubled spot this morning, but you know, you usually see this time of the morning, right? These are the westbound lanes moving away from us on the south side of the Beltline. If you're coming in from the Johnson County area and you want to get to all points west, I would take the northern side of the Beltline because take a look at this. This is I-440 and Ridge Road. You can see delay-free in both directions there in the north side of the Beltline.
Take you to another live look right now. This in Milwaukee, where the Republican National Convention is set to begin today. Former President Donald Trump told the Washington Examiner he has rewritten his speech he was set to deliver at the convention Thursday after he was almost killed by a gunman. In the interview, he says he will call for unity. Coming up at 8:30, President Biden's address from the Oval Office last night and the federal investigations that are intensifying this morning.
And tight security was seen around Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee yesterday, which will host tens of thousands of people this week. Security fencing is in place and helicopters survey the area.
One of the most secure areas on the planet right now. We have thousands of law enforcement agencies from all over the state and all over the Midwest here.
The convention starts today and is scheduled to run through Thursday. And just within the last 20 minutes here in the WRAL Live Center, the Secret Service director is reassuring Americans that there is ample security in place at the Republican National Convention. This is Kimberly Cheadle, and she wrote in a statement, "I'm confident in the security plan our Secret Service RNC coordinator and our partners have put in place." She did confirm they have implemented changes to Trump's security details since Saturday to ensure his continued protection. Cheadle also confirmed that the Secret Service was engaged in an independent review announced by President Biden.
We've been working on those plans for a year and a half now. Renee, thank you. Former GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley is expected to speak at the convention tomorrow. Haley was Trump's chief rival in the Republican primary contest. Republican leaders say Trump's vice presidential pick will speak Wednesday, followed by Trump on Thursday. In New York City, security has been tightened at Trump Tower. A senior NYPD official said additional officers and resources have been added to the building out of an abundance of caution. Uniformed officers and a police dog could be seen patrolling outside Trump Tower's main entrance there over the weekend. Moments before an assassination attempt on former President Trump, a witness says he saw the gunman moving from roof to roof.
I was up at the fence line. Saw the guy move from roof to roof, told an officer that he was on the roof.
Authorities say Secret Service agents killed the gunman. NBC News has reported the rooftop where the gunman was identified by the Secret Service as a potential vulnerability in the days before the event.
Investigations are begging into the plan and response from Secret Service during the assassination attempt, beginning on former President Donald Trump. Critics of the Secret Service's actions say that security planning at Trump's rally was poor. WRAL spoke to former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker about the Secret Service's response in the moment shots began to ring out.
It took 2 minutes to get him off the podium. 2 full minutes. I ticked it off. And then he stood up and his face was showing and his head was showing and he pumped his fist. Great moment. He seized the moment for sure. But if there were a secondary shooter, he would have been gone.
The FBI is leading an investigation into the Secret Service's actions. The head of the Secret Service is also expected to testify at a hearing with the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability 1 week from today. And when it comes to presidential security, Secret Service is top of mind. However, local law enforcement also plays a role in keeping presidents and candidates safe. During a high-profile visit, local law enforcement takes on roles like escorting, maintaining security checkpoints, or securing a building. The Wake County Sheriff's Office underwent training for these visits just a few months ago. Our own Deborah Morgan played the role of a dignitary that they had to keep safe.
Training and experience is why we have these classes, and that way we can effectively do our job whenever these visits occur.
And the Wake County Sheriff's Office said there is continuous training done to stay prepared. As we know, North Carolina is a swing state and home to a lot of visitors, so this training is crucial.
U.S. Secret Service says it is fully prepared to ensure the Republican National Convention will be safe this week. Police in Milwaukee will be vigilant in the wake of the assassination attempt because of open carry laws they have in the state of Wisconsin.
Unless it's something that is against state law, we have to respect Second Amendment right to carry your firearm, especially in regards to open carry or carrying concealed with your license.
Public safety transcends party lines. Therefore, California Governor Gavin Newsom is sending officers from Bakersfield, Fresno, and Long Beach police departments, as well as 40 members of the California Highway Patrol, sending them all to Milwaukee to assist with crowd management, traffic control, and provide public safety. Police in Indianapolis are investigating a shooting that appears to have started over a basketball court dispute. Investigators say 5 people were shot last night at an apartment complex. All 5 are in the hospital. 1 is in critical condition this morning. Police detained 1 person during the investigation, but it's not clear how that person is involved at this time.
Crews battled a massive fire at a pallet yard in California over the weekend. It happened on Saturday in Fontana. That's right outside of San Bernardino. It took firefighters hours to put out the 4-alarm fire. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. An investigation into the cause of the fire is underway. And the North Carolina Oil and Gas Commission Rules Committee will meet today from 10 a.m. to noon. The meeting is online, but an in-person listening station will also be available in the 5th floor conference room of the Archdale building. The agenda for today's meeting includes amending the rules on how explosives can be used to survey for oil and valuable minerals.
Beverly Hills 90210 star Shannon Doherty has died. The actress's longtime publicist confirmed Doherty died Saturday, surrounded by loved ones after a years-long battle with cancer. Doherty rose to fame as Brenda Walsh on the original Beverly Hills 90210 show. She was also known for her role on the series Charmed. Doherty was 53 years old.
Still ahead for us, vandalism at a political party headquarters in North Carolina just hours after the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. We are under a heat advisory for today. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner is outside on the WRAL weather patio to tell us how it feels right now.
Yeah, right now we're feeling like, about 85 or so. And boy, later on this afternoon, it's going to feel more like 110. You see the purple area to our east? That's where we have an excessive heat warning just east of us. And there it'll feel more like 115. So take it easy out there. It's going to be a quick warm up. It's already going to feel like triple digits by lunchtime. We hit 110 around 5 o'clock. And even at 8 o'clock, we're still in the triple digits. So not much of a window today to be outside where it's comfortable or safe for that matter. Gardens are beautiful this morning, though. Looking pretty here. Our temperature town by town, anywhere from the upper 70s to low 80s across the region. And again, we're going to warm up fast. So if you're about to walk the dog, it already feels pretty steamy. But boy, later on this evening, even at 8 o'clock, we'll see 90 degrees. Be careful out there.
Some good advice, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're seeing a lot of congestion building on the north side of the Beltline there. We're trying to figure out if there's something happening or if that's just a usual morning commute. I know for sure the crash just happened on I-40 westbound near Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the heavy congestion right now in those westbound lanes. You can't see the crash on this particular camera, but I'm working to figure out exactly what's going on, and we'll let you know and have an update for you at the bottom of the hour over on Fox 50.
Ken, nearly 2,400 delegates from around the country are coming together this week in Milwaukee to formally offer Trump the Republican Party's presidential nomination. Several North Carolina delegates have made the trip to Wisconsin for the convention. They tell us this year's convention has significantly heightened security compared to previous years. And coming up next on the Today Show, Natalie Portman live in Studio 1A.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
This morning, the nation is still reeling from the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump at his rally in Pennsylvania. The new information we're learning about the investigation as the Republican National Convention is set to begin today.
And in a rare address from the Oval Office, President Biden attempting to calm anxiety across the nation.
We cannot, we must not go down this road in America.
His comments on the FBI's investigation into the gunman.
And we are hearing this morning from North Carolina delegates now in Wisconsin for the Republican National Convention. Just ahead, why they say the tone has shifted ahead of this big week.
And we're taking a look at our heat advisory for today. It's going to feel more like 110 this afternoon. I'll show you what record we could break.
8:30 is the time right now as we welcome you inside our WRAL studio right now. And thanks for making us part of your Monday here. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. We have a lot to talk about today. A lot happened this past weekend. Weather-wise, we're hot again.
We're going to wish it was in the mid-80s today, later on today, when we get up to what it feels like, Elizabeth, 110.
Yes, we hit 100 yesterday. So today's going to feel very similar to that. We do have that heat advisory that's in effect. It's going to feel like 110. Of course, to our east, that red shaded or purple shaded area is an excessive heat warning for a feels like temperature of up to 115. So it's going to be one of those days you want to just lay low. And it seems like we've had a lot of those. We've already had 10 this year, and we average 8 or 9 per year. So yeah, it's more than we normally D.C. We're going to see a triple-digit heat index by lunchtime, and it continues all the way until around 8 o'clock. So there's just not going to be a lot of times today where you can comfortably or safely be outside, certainly not exerting yourself. It's pretty here in the gardens. It's 82 right now, but the dew point's at 74. If it was 82 with a dew point in the low 60s, it would feel delightful. But that 74 dew point just means there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and so it's going to feel hotter to our bodies than it really is. Right now, looking at upper 70s to low 80s. Our coolest spot is Roxborough at 75, but it's 82 in South Hill, 80 in Southern Pines, and 80 in Goldsboro. We do have a small chance for showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, mostly in our southern counties. Not everybody will see it. It's not going to be enough to really cool things down for us. Look at that, 100 degrees. Our record high for today is 99. So if we hit that 100, we will break the previous record. But we do have some relief on the way. This is not going to last all week. I'll show you coming up.
Now in the WRAL Traffic Center, we see some heavy congestion building on the north side of the Beltline there around Capitol Boulevard. I'll show you exactly what I mean in just a minute. But we're all monitoring a crash that just happened in the last half hour or so on I-40 westbound near Lake Wheeler Road. You can see the heavy congestion building there in those westbound lanes of I-40 and Lake Wheeler. Let me take you outside and show you exactly what I mean by that. The eastbound lanes are coming toward us, nothing to worry about there, but that's the westbound lanes that are moving away from us. We can't see the crash on this camera, but you can see the congestion that it's causing right there on the south side of the Beltline. On the north side of the Beltline, we just showed you what was going on there in terms of the heavy congestion that we're seeing. But you can see traffic is moving. The westbound lanes are moving away from us this morning. This is just the usual morning congestion that we see this time of the morning. They're in the northern side of the Beltline. We'll keep monitoring that for you and keep you posted. The troubled spots, those westbound lanes coming in from Johnston County, all cleared up right now, which is good news. Just a little bit of big tapping going on I-885 in both directions in Durham.
We continue to follow developments in the investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump as the Republican National Convention starts today. New this morning, we have learned the shooter was a member of a sports club in Pennsylvania. That facility has shooting ranges, including a rifle range of 200 yards. It's still unclear how and why the rooftop where he was left uncovered after the Secret Service says they identified it as a vulnerability days before the rally. We've also learned a local officer saw the gunman on a rooftop during the rally, but the Butler County Sheriff says the officer was unable to engage him.
And Jeff, also this morning, we're learning from former President Trump himself about the experience that nearly took his life. He spoke to the New York Post and he said, quote, "I'm not supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be dead." And he commented on this picture taken after he got up that showed him raising his fist, saying, quote, "Usually you have to die to get an iconic picture." He also said the agents knocked him down so hard after the shots rang out that his shoes fell off. And that's why you heard when agents were trying to get him off the stage at the rally, he had asked for his shoes. Trump also said he appreciated getting a call from Biden, calling that call fine, and said that the president was, quote, "very nice."
And former President Trump is already in Milwaukee now ahead of the convention. He was seen getting off his plane last night, less than 24 hours after surviving that assassination attempt. In a statement on social media, Trump says he considered delaying his trip to Wisconsin by a few days, but he says ultimately he couldn't allow a potential assassin to change his schedule. Trump is not expected to speak until Thursday, which is the last day of the convention.
Several North Carolina lawmakers are asking for peace following the assassination attempt. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us from the Legislative Building in Raleigh with their messages of support and also their concerns.
North Carolina lawmakers call this situation a wake-up call. We know nearly 2,400 delegates from across the country are gathering in Wisconsin now to formally offer President Trump the Republican Party's presidential nomination. We know North Carolina delegates are out there. We spoke with several of them, and they tell us this year's convention in Milwaukee has significantly heightened security compared to previous years. However, that is not the only thing that has changed. We spoke with Senator Jim Bergen, Judge Bob Orr. They tell us the tone has shifted as well. Some North Carolina delegates are energized and motivated. Others confident political rhetoric will calm down moving forward on both sides of the aisle.
It's okay to disagree, but let's all try to find a good way to do it respectfully, and hopefully we can make a change in this country. And I think it's going to happen.
This is an opportunity for both of them to demonstrate the kind of unifying leadership that the country so desperately needs.
And with this big week ahead, we will continue to monitor the events throughout the week, as well as get that reaction from our local lawmakers and North Carolina delegates. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
President Biden is calling for unity after the gunman tried to kill Trump. In an address from the Oval Office last night, Biden said the investigation into the motive of the shooter continues.
We don't know the motive of the shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions.
The president ended by calling on Americans to unite as one nation despite differing political views.
And we spoke with Democratic State Representative Brandon Lofton in Mecklenburg County minutes after President Biden's speech to get his reaction.
I thought he immediately struck the correct tone by unequivocally stating that violence has no place in our politics, period.
Lofton also said what happened was not just an attack on a former president, but on democracy itself.
NBC News has learned from two sources the rooftop from where the gunman opened fire at the rally was identified by the Secret Service as a potential vulnerability spot days before the event. Take a look at this map of the shooting scene. This is Butler, Pennsylvania, 35 miles north of Pittsburgh. It's a fairgrounds type area. The rally took place at the Butler Farm Show. This is where the stage was set up, as you see noted on this map. The Secret Service had snipers, pretty good vantage points where they were located there. The gunman managed, though, to get on the roof of the building you see there about 400 feet from the stage where Trump was standing.
Investigators continued to search the home of the shooter last night in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. A law enforcement official said there was explosive material found inside. The FBI also said that bomb-making materials were found inside the car that the shooter drove to the rally on Saturday. Law enforcement says Thomas Crook's parents are cooperating with the investigation.
We're learning more about the man killed during the shooting. Corey Comprator was a husband and father to two girls. He was also a firefighter. Pennsylvania's governor said Comprator was at the rally with his family. He said he shielded his family when those shots began. He died as a hero. The firefighter worked with the Buffalo Township Volunteer Fire Department. In a statement on Facebook, the department said Corey will be greatly missed by all who knew him. Corey, rest easy, brother, and we will take it from here. 57-year-old David Dutch and 74-year-old James Copenhaver were also injured. They're in critical but stable condition.
Investigators are looking into the plan and response from Secret Service during the assassination attempt. Critics of the Secret Service's actions say that security planning at Trump's rally was poor. WRAL spoke to former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker about the Secret Service's response in the moments shots began to ring out.
They have to plan for that sort of thing, and they have to know what to do. It looked like a lot of chaos around the car, a lot of chaos getting him off. A lot of agents looked like they didn't know what to do.
The FBI is leading an investigation into the Secret Service's actions. The head of the Secret Service is also expected to testify at a hearing with the House Committee on Oversight and Accountability 1 week from today.
A political party headquarters was vandalized in Carteret County this weekend. Democratic Party Chair Katie Tomberlin said in a social media post she called Sunday morning in response to vandalism at the Democratic Party office downtown. She wrote that at some time during the previous evening, someone threw rocks and a concrete planter into the front window. Police are investigating.
And our coverage of the RNC and the assassination attempt continues online. For a detailed report on the security plans at the convention, plus a timeline of the shooting at the rally on Saturday and how attendees who filmed it described the chaotic scene, head to WRAL.com or our YouTube page.
8:41 right now. We are learning more about the shooter in the assassination attempt of former President Trump. We hear from a former classmate of Thomas Crook's. That's coming up.
And Argentina wins the 2024 Copa America Championship. A look at last night's victory straight ahead.
And we head to break with this live look right now. Blue skies in Chapel Hill at this heat alert in effect. Our WRAL Live Cam network. Tough to find a cool spot today.
Welcome back on your toasty Monday morning as you look live over North Hills. Plenty of blue skies and sunshine. It is warming up out there as we approach 9 o'clock. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner on the WRAL weather patio. A lot of us under that heat advisory today, Elizabeth.
Yes, it's going to feel like up to 110 this afternoon. Yesterday we hit 100 and we'll likely see the same today. 100 would break our previous record high. So this is unusual heat. I mean, I know it is hot in North Carolina and we do get used to it, but some days put us in the danger zone, and today's going to be another one of those days. It is pretty out here in the gardens, I will say, and it's not too hot just yet, but it's humid. It's the amount of moisture in the atmosphere that makes it dangerous. Our dew point 74 right now, our temperature 82. Now 82 just by itself with a low dew point feels very comfortable, but 82 with a dew point of 74, it just already feels steamy and uncomfortable, and we're going to see our temperatures heating up very quickly up to 110 this afternoon. So we have the heat advisory for our viewing area, that's in orange, and then there in purple, that's an excessive heat warning for counties closer to the coast. Love this weather watcher photo. You know, if you can find a cool spot by the lake there, you can see right there in the foreground the Adirondack chairs overlooking the lake, the sunset. Tess Muro sent us that from Durham. Beautiful. Thank you for sending us that photo. Send us your photos too. Go to WRAL.com, click Weather Watchers, and it'll show you how to upload some photos for us. Okay, we are past our average number of heat advisories for the year. We average 8 to 9. We've already had 10 in the last 26 days. We've had 2 excessive heat warnings. They're that purple. So it's been a hot summer, and it's only half over. I mean, it's the middle of July. We have the rest of July and August to go with the potential for some pretty intense heat. 100 today in Raleigh, 101 in Durham, 100 in Fayetteville. That 100 in Raleigh will break the record high. The previous record 99. Tomorrow we'll see 99. The record's 101. So we may not hit the record tomorrow, but we'll probably hit it today. 110 is our highest heat index through the afternoon, and it's just going to be a while before that tapers off, like 9 o'clock, before it doesn't feel like triple digits anymore. Tomorrow feeling like 110 again. It's most likely that we'll have another heat advisory tomorrow. We have a small step down Wednesday and another small one on Thursday, 107 and then 101. But eventually it feels much better. Thursday and Friday, notice how that heat risk really starts to drop. It will feel much more comfortable as we get into the end of the week, as we see some rain back in our forecast. Dark colors absorb the heat more, so if you're wearing dark colors, you feel hotter. And watch that pavement, watch that asphalt with your pet's paws, dog's paws if you're taking a walk. That can be a very hot area where they can get their paws burned. So walk them in the grass this evening if you can. A few isolated showers and thunderstorms later today, potentially some brief heavy rain, but this is not going to be a big rainmaker for us, not until we get to Thursday. That's going to be our next best chance for rain. And look at what happens with the temperatures. 90 Thursday, but 82 Friday, 84 Saturday, 85 on Sunday. We could see 2.5 to 3 inches of rain toward the end of the week, and we definitely need it.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We are looking live at Milwaukee, where the Republican National Convention gets started today. Activists are gathering in Milwaukee for the event and say the assassination attempt on former President Trump will not affect their plans. The largest expected demonstration is planned to start this morning.
A North Carolina lawmaker will be leading the Pledge of Allegiance at the RNC when it begins today. House Representative Jared Lowry is a former Marine and is a member of the Lumbee tribe. He's also an alternate delegate at the convention this week. Lowry tells WRAL he feels an extra sense of pride in leading the Pledge of Allegiance given what happened.
You have to get it right, and there's a lot of weight that I feel because it's a moment where we can all be united and do something together, regardless of your party, regardless of any type of affiliation you have. You know, all the way back in elementary school, we said the Pledge of Allegiance because America is the one thing that united us together.
And Lowry tells WRAL he is set to give that Pledge of Allegiance at 5 p.m. this evening.
World leaders are reacting to the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he was shocked and horrified at the news.
This wasn't just an attack on Donald Trump. This was an attack on a candidate for the presidency of the United States. This was an attack on America. It was an attack on democracy. It was an attack on all the democracies.
And French President Emmanuel Macron called the shooting a tragedy for our democracies. And Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau posted on social media that political violence is never acceptable.
We are learning more about the shooter in the assassination attempt of former President Trump. A former classmate of Thomas Crooks, says he was bullied in high school and didn't fit in.
He wasn't like with the clique, so he was always had a, I guess, target on his back.
What do you mean by that?
Just being like bullied.
Crooks was 20 years old, and this upcoming election would have been the first presidential election he was old enough to vote in. Investigators say so far they haven't found any evidence on social media or other writings by Crooks that might help identify a motive.
Former President Trump's campaign has started a GoFundMe page to raise money to the victims shot during the rally. One person died, 2 others were hurt. Trump's campaign national finance director issued a statement that says the former president authorized the account so people can financially help the families. As of this morning, more than $3.5 million has been donated.
Get ready for another week of blistering hot temperatures. More than 90-degree temperatures are in the forecast this week. And while exposure to those soaring temperatures can trigger heat-related illnesses in people, health experts warn those on certain medications can be more prone to these types of risks as well. And Ted Linder takes a closer look.
While the National Weather Service says extreme heat is the #1 cause of weather-related deaths in the country, health experts are raising more red flags this season, citing how surging summer temperatures can increase the risk of heat-related illnesses for millions by intensifying the side effects of many common medications.
When we talk about the signs and symptoms of heat exhaustion, if you have a small percentage of experiencing headache, confusion, and dizziness, but you have a handful of other medications that do have those small percentages of that side effect, well, those slowly start to add up.
For instance, many blood pressure pills can reduce fluid in the blood, causing people to become dehydrated.
If you're on medications that maybe increase the amount of fluids that you're getting rid of, maybe decrease the amount of sweating that your body naturally produces, I definitely recommend making sure that you're consuming adequate amounts of water.
This, as some types of antidepressants can interfere with the body's ability to stay cool.
Thinking about heat as a quote-unquote medication that provides its own side effects, that in combination with other medications could definitely cause what we like to call like a perfect storm.
But certain medications could also impact the body's exterior. Beta blockers for heart problems are known to decrease blood flow to the skin, and topical remedies for acne can increase the skin's sensitivity to the sun.
Making sure you're wearing appropriate clothing, potentially clothing that has UV blocking abilities, and making sure you're using sunscreen.
New this morning, Argentina won the 2024 Copa America Championship 1-0 over Colombia last night. Argentina, the defending champions of the tournament, as well as the World Cup winners in 2022, were the favorites of the tournament and never trailed during the competition. Their win comes after Lionel Messi was subbed out during the game with an ankle injury.
And Michelle, that game was delayed for more than an hour after fans tried to rush the gates there. Many fans didn't have tickets. They were trying to get inside, and people were seen jumping over security railings, running past police officers and stadium attendants. Police say an officer was struck with a rock during the incident, and several people were taken into custody. We are just 11 days from the 2024 Olympics, and the Olympic torch has finally made it to Paris. It made a special appearance at the traditional military parade to celebrate Bastille Day. The torch made its grand entrance on horseback. It now begins its final relay around famous landmarks all through Paris before the journey ends at the opening ceremony, July 26th. WRAL is your home for the Summer Olympics. We have live coverage all day from July 26th to August 11th. You can look for reports each day, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m.